situate yourself on whatever you're sitting on in a way that allows you to align your ears over your shoulders and your shoulders over your hips. And then close your eyes if you haven't already. And let your belly begin to become consciously mobile as you breathe. So as you inhale, allow your belly to gradually fill up. And as you exhale, allow your belly to gradually empty. And then add to that an awareness of the mobility of your lungs and ribs. So you'll keep letting your belly fill up on your inhale and then bring that fullness up into both of your lungs. Be gentle and not forced in the way that you do this. And then when you exhale, empty your lungs until you feel just a gentle squeeze, gentle contraction on the musculature that lines your rib cage. And then empty your belly until you feel your belly button move back toward your spinal column and the tissues below your navel begin to lift and tone. Let your shoulders be relaxed away from your ears and allow some space in between your upper and lower molars so your jaw muscles are at ease. And just let yourself receive this breath that is connecting the lower part of your torso with the upper part of your torso. And then including your breath awareness, your throat and neck, and your head with all of the organs of perception, your eyes and your ears, your mouth and your nose. And then open your awareness to your arms and hands, and your hips, legs, and feet. And then taking also just a general awareness of the space that's in front of your body and behind your body, below your body, above, and to both sides. And be friendly with whatever it is that you are experiencing and sensing in your body this morning. And then just take a moment of self-awareness here and sense into the area that I was talking about, solar plexus area, and imagine Cup your hands and place them over your eyes, and let the soothing energy from your hands go into your eyes and down your spinal column all the way to your tailbone. And then allow the energy to rise back up your spinal column all the way to the top of your head. And then rub your forehead from the center out toward your temples. Circle over your temples. Circle over the hinge of your jaw. Rub up and down the back of your neck. And squeeze the tops of your shoulders. Shake out your hands. All right, then get one of your blankets and place it over the center of your mat. Just in the middle of your mat so that when you come onto all fours, your hands are on the sticky mat, and then make your way to all fours. Very good. And then take an inhale and shift your weight forward, bringing the crown of your head forward. And then as you exhale, shift your weight back and put your elbows down on the floor, and then round your lower back and come into child's pose and relax your neck muscle. And then take an inhale and come back up to your forearms and then onto your palms, and bring the weight of your body forward into your hands. And then as you exhale, shift your weight back onto your knees, put your elbows down, round your back, and relax the back of your neck. And continue repeating that with your breath. You'll ride the wave of your inhale upward, and the wave of your exhale down and back. Or you can vary the pace and take a couple breaths on your way up, a couple breaths on your way down. Just sense into your own rhythm this morning and take it at your own pace. Enjoy your movements. Enjoy being with your breath. Leave a little bend in your elbows there, so your elbows don't lock into place. Good. You could walk your hands forward a little bit too. Just giving your back space to be elongated. The next time you're down in the child's pose, just stay there and let your spine kind of settle in. Take some deep exhalations. Lengthen your exhale a little bit longer than you typically do when you're not thinking about it. Take one more lengthened exhale. And then on your next inhalation, come back up to all fours. Very good. And then come to standing on your knees with your knees at hips width. Your knees will be underneath your hips here. When you go to look up moon salutation on the internet, some demonstrations of this have your hips kind of forward like this. And I encourage you to keep your hips over your knees, so that when we go into doing this back bend, you're lifting up and out and back bending more through your upper back, so this part opens. Some back bends you'll see people kind of do this number and they're really hinging in their lower back, which which put your hands here. Your kidneys are right here, and your adrenal glands sit on top of your kidneys like little hats. And we don't typically want to squeeze on the adrenal glands because that releases hot, fiery hormones that are kind of getting away from our intention in moon salutation, which is just the right hormones in this area. Okay, so you'll take your one hand to your navel and one hand to your sternum, and just practice opening that space between your navel and your sternum, and then bringing those 2 points close together. So you can think of like if you had a rubber band from your top of your head down to the front of your body, you're opening, lengthening the rubber band in front, and then if you had a rubber band going down the back, you're opening, lengthening the rubber band in back, alternately. And then the textbook breathing here would be to inhale as you open, and then exhale as you close. But those of you who are familiar with my teaching, I don't like the breathing to become so fixed and rigid. So if you're wanting to add a few breaths or do it a little bit differently, feel free to be creative and explore. And then you can add arm movement to this, but keep that awareness of the movement really emanating from your torso area. So as you open, you can take your arms up and open your throat, soften your jaw, and then we're actually going to come into child's pose. Glide your hands along the floor and come into child's pose with your arms extended long. And then inhale and come back to standing on your knees. And then exhale and come into child's pose. And just repeat that a few times and I'll observe. Good. Opening your navel. Good. And then exhaling and closing as you come into child's pose. Good. And you can even close. There's another area of Agni in the thyroid gland, which is in the front of your throat. So when you come up, you're opening the front of your thyroid and come down and close the front of your throat. Good. Keep that a few times. Open your throat too. Yeah, good. You can gaze upward. All right. So that's a pretty unintimidating part of the moon salutation. Let's just move right along to a potentially more awkward at first part, okay? Excited for this? But it gets easier and it's fun once you get it. And the movement is from your child's pose. You're going to glide close to the floor. Your forearms kind of stay close to the floor and you glide onto your belly and into cobra pose. Good. And push down with your forearms and pull back with your forearms so that the front of your navel lengthens. And you relax your shoulders away from your ears and expand the front of your chest. And then you lower your chest and your head down and slide your hands back so the thumbs are pointing at the base of your breastbone. Your elbows hug in toward your body like grasshopper arms or grasshopper legs, and push down into the floor and come up to all fours and then back down into child's pose. Okay, one detail here is keep your head kind of down as you slide onto your belly, and just let your head unfurl at the very end, like a flower that's gradually blossoming. And then you lower down, slide your hands back, elbows hugging in, press down to come up and into child's pose. Okay, go ahead and repeat that, and I'll just make some observations. Yeah, some of your hands might be stickier and forearms, so you kind of shimmy along, and that's fine too. Okay, keep going. I'll just observe. Have your forearms down when you come into the cobra, so you can get that nice opening through the solar plexus. And then you slide your hands back and lower your chest and head down. Good. And then press up. Good. Perfect, Crystal. So is anybody feeling like your arm strength is not, maybe a little bit of weakness in your arms on that push-up part? That gets better. I know a few of you are new to yoga, and that arm strength will get built up. And the way that you'll be able to tell that you're getting some strength there is that when you come up, you'll be doing less of kind of like a back bend to come up, where you're using your back muscles, and you just press down like almost like you're doing half of a push-up. So your back is long when you come up instead of going into that back bend. I always think it's helpful to have a little sense of humor about that. If you are sensing your arms are weak, and just go, oh, it'll get better. Keep coming to class.
Crawl or something.
The crawl, that's perfectly great. Just one little pointer there is I encourage you to, as you come forward, imagine your pelvis guiding you forward rather than your head dragging you forward. So you get, this is a really powerful area of the body, and potentially as you let your pelvis be the guide, we'll end up in less neck and shoulder strain, which is a common issue. So as you come forward, just guide with your pelvis, leave your head and neck pretty passive until the very end. You kind of come out and blossom there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I gave a workshop last January when I went to Wisconsin, and I got some email later on, some feedback from a man. He said, well, what I learned, one thing I took from your class was don't lead with your head, but remember to take your head with you. So I thought there were some kind of life philosophical implications to that. You can also think of it, not just leading with your pelvis, but leading with your heart. And that's always a good way to live, right? Leading with your heart. Okay, are you ready to move on, or do you have any other questions about that part? Good. Karen? Good? All right. So the next part is we'll practice doing there are half lunges. In the sun salutation, you do full lunges or the warrior one poses. In the moon salutation, we do half lunges. And so come to all fours. That's a good place to start. And then look up in between your hands, and you're going to plant your right foot right to the inside of your right hand. And different methods here, like Lori's got longer limbs, so she's going to kind of swing around probably to get where she's going. I've got shorter limbs, so I can just get away with kind of rounding my back and then planting my foot up. Some of you may need a little help from your arm to get your foot up, but you want to get your foot way up, you know, close to the front of your mat so that your back leg is slanted here, not at a 90-degree angle with the floor, but slanted, so it's about a 30-degree angle with the floor. And then check in that your front knee is vertically aligned over your front ankle instead of being here. This is another common thing. If you look this up on the internet, you might see some images of people doing it this way. That's very straining for the knee ligaments. So just basic alignment here, knee over ankle. And then you come here and you salute the moon from this position with your shoulder girdle in front of your hips. So Lori, bring your shoulders and hips forward. Good. And then again, you get that nice back bend that's not crunching on your kidneys. There's just a real smooth slope in the lower back area. And then bring your hands down and bring your front knee back. And then practice coming into the other side. Front knee over your front ankle, your back leg at a slant, so your pelvis is forward, shoulder girdle stays in front of your hip girdle, and you salute the moon again. And then come down. Now again, I want you to just repeat this a few times so that I can observe and help you out where needed. Good. Madhyana, bring your front foot forward even more. Like, yeah, good. And then lean toward me.
You want us to alternate our legs?
Yeah, alternate legs and just keep practicing, and I'll make some observations here. One thing, and a lot of you are figuring this out, I'm not necessarily correcting, but when you come forward, keep the two legs on two different train tracks. If you come forward and your one leg and your foot are in line with one another, you're going to be, more prone to tipping over. So keep your feet at your foot and your back knee at hips width apart, and that will keep you stable. And you have the option here of having your back toes turned under or pointed. Some people feel more stable with their foot pointed. And I usually go with the turned under option to use the bottoms of my 5 toes to help stabilize. Kira, widen your stance a little bit. Good. Good, Karen. We have 2 ands now. Are you and with an E too?
No, E.
And without an E and with an E.
I remember that because it's like the queen.
Yeah.
E like the queen. I always tease the other ones.
What does the other and? She's the queen too.
Like the storm. And
Okay. So, any questions about those lunges? It's pretty straightforward. You just have to remember to get your foot way far enough forward so you can lean into it. And just a side note, I guess maybe there are some digestive implications asymmetrically here, but this is a wonderful psoas stretch. Do you know what your psoas is? It's a muscle that is hooked into the front of your spine. So imagine you have x-ray vision and you can see my spine. There are muscles that hook into the front of the spine, and then they pass down through the pelvis and then attach at the top of your femur bone back there. So it's like a rubber band, two muscles, or it's more than 2 muscles. It's a group of core muscles that goes like this and hooks into the femur. So when you get that nice forward placement of your pelvis and then open up, it's a wonderful one-sided psoas stretch. And when the psoas is not flexible and strained, it can lead to low back tightness, so, and other issues. So, psoas with a P, P-S-O-A-S, psoas. Did anybody know that muscle?
No, you know what? I think you solved the problem though. When I go for long motorcycle rides, that I've noticed in my lower back, you know, I feel it. I bet it's sweat.
Bikers.
I was
Yeah.
thinking, yeah, it was in the back, but it was in that muscle. Yeah.
A common mistake bicyclers and bicyclists do is they'll have this stance here and this gets all tight. So this is going to help you have some more, you know, if you're bicycling, leaning forward here and not straining your upper back and causing that seizing up of your psoas muscles. So that's one positive, fun thing here. Okay, so you've got that. Now we typically, for those of you who've attended a lot, we typically don't do this the twist. Have I ever added the twist in to the salutation? So let's do that because spinal twists unclog the channels of your liver. So it's a good addition to this. So what that'll look like is we'll salute here, we'll come back down, we'll come up again, and then we're going to put our palms together and then rotate. You want to rotate from deep in your spine and come into a spinal twist. And then you'll untwist, salute, and come back down. Yep, when you have your left foot forward, you'll twist to the left. And you'll have your right elbow as a little lever on your thigh muscle there to help you go a little bit deeper into the twist. So now you'll twist to the left. Good. Can you get your elbow at least to the top of your leg there? Yeah, because on the inside you don't get that same kind of leverage that you do. You get a good, drishti would be to kind of rotate in your neck a little bit gently too and gaze up toward the beautiful wooden ceiling. In ballet, exactly, yeah. If you look toward your arms. Does it feel good? Karen, you're kind of, how do I come out of this a little bit?
No.
Stable?
That
No?
was,
Okay.
no, my kneecap is getting tired.
Okay, you can throw another, this is something, you can throw another little extra blanket padding underneath your knee if you find that happening. To the inside of the knee will really help. Yeah, there's a lot of knee weight bearing in this. Everybody else finding your way? Any troubleshooting you want me to help with? There's a lot of core stability in this, coming into it and coming out. If you kind of stabilize your core as you're coming out, it'll help you be less wobbly.
Show me coming out again.
Okay, let's see. So we'll come into the twist, coming out, come back up and salute, and then back down.
That's what I was doing.
Good. Yeah, if you keep your eyes open, because our eyes play a big role in helping us feel stable. And then stay in your lunge, have your torso and hands down. And then to get out of this, you lift your back. You have your back toes turned under. So do that if you haven't already. Lift your back knee. And then get some momentum under the ball of your foot, like you're getting ready to run a race. And step your back foot forward. And you're going to come into a wide-legged stance with your feet kind of turned out. Good. And this is because we do squat in the moon salutation. So right your motion. And then go the other way. Rest your arms. Take your other arm up. Stabilize your neck. So we're just mobilizing the rib cage area and upper back. Reverse the direction. Smaller circles, larger circles. Okay, good. Now, new to squat. Raise your hand. Squat stance is as individual as you are. So, I guess in theory, if you have a wider hip placement, your stance can be a little bit wider. If you're more narrow. And then the turnout of your feet has to do with the natural turnout in your hips. So a lot of this is just feeling into what's native to you. And then gently take hold of the bar, and you can practice just lowering down, bringing your sit bones down toward the floor. Good. And then coming back up is just as important as coming down. So keep your mindfulness about you, and you can just practice coming down and up. Last time we did this, everyone was texting me, Facebooking, I'm sore all over. So keep your toes not from gripping the floor. Keep your toes kind of lengthened and lightly resting on the floor. So you're rooting in through your heels and the balls of your feet as you come down.
It's just popping like
And use the floor to come up. You know, sometimes we unnecessarily use shoulders or other means our back to come up. Press down into the floor to come up. It's just basic Newtonian physics that if you put more pressure, more force down into the floor is going to help you come up in an equal amount. But it was such a good, it hurt so good.
Yeah.
What areas should we feel?
So, the areas that you feel are the areas that you feel. This is such an individual thing. You know, some people might really get it in their rib cage or shoulders, others in their knees or legs. But the therapeutic purpose of squat is that it helps it makes gravity drag downward on your back, the ligaments in your back, especially in your lower back, and the place where your sacrum meets up with the back of your pelvis. There's a joint back there called your sacroiliac joint. And squatting helps realign those bones and realign any misalignments in your lumbar spine, which is the lower part of your spinal column. And alignment in that area of the body kind of radiates outward. It's a very key area of the body to maintain alignment in for general health. And then incidentally, going into squat activates the downward and outward motions in the body, so it helps with detox and elimination. And childbirth. This is how women used to birth babies. any questions about squatting? Yeah, once you get down there, see if you haven't already, see if you can let go of the bar and just be in squat. Squatting helps tonify the pelvic floor muscles as well. At home, you can do this with a doorknob. Just make sure the doorknob is stable. And you can just hold on to the doorknob and come down and out of it several times, practicing that way. And then eventually you'll just get so you can come down and out. This is something Westerner, we in the West don't do this a lot, but in places like Turkey and India, people still squat regularly to cook or to do handicrafts. Or my sister lived in Istanbul. She said that the men would just sit on the street corners squatting and talking to each other. So it's native to all humans. We're able to do this movement, but since we don't do it in the West, we're in chairs and couches and proper, we kind of lost the capacity to do it. And my Ayurveda teacher said that, she would observe people for hours in India squatting and doing their handicrafts, and then they just get up and walk away like no big deal. And we're more like, coming up with, yeah. There's a lot of involvement with the hips and the knees and the ankles get in a very exaggerated crease, so everything gets involved with the squat.
What about moving your weight forward because I can't squat with my heel down. I have to be on the
Now, not yet, but you'll be able to get it unless,
Eventually.
we have a person in here who had polio, and so she has kind of an extenuating circumstance. And then I had one man, this is seriously only one person out of everybody I've taught, never got it, and I think he just had really short gastroc muscles in his calves. So we always knew, for John, put a rolled up blanket under his heels. Otherwise, he'd just roll back over and everyone would start laughing. Like Easter. Yeah, Easter egg tipping over. So come back to the center, and without the help of the bar, you can modify your squat. You can just come down to wherever you're able to come down to without falling at this point. So let's put this whole thing together. It's really fun when we put it together. Do you want me to demonstrate how it all fits together once, and then I'll talk you through it, okay? Non-aggressive, sweet, just go with the flow. take an inhale and extend your arms up, open the front of your belly. Exhale and fold forward. Sink into whatever version of squatting works for you. Good. Put your hands down and step back with your right knee into that half lunge. And Lori, walk your front foot way forward. Yes, good. And without the E. Good. All right. And then salute the moon. Beautiful. Come down. Come back up. We'll do that twist. Good. Bring your palms together and lower your hands and twist to your left. And if you fall out of it, try again. Good. Gradually untwist. Salute. Bring your hands down. Good. Bring your front foot back to join your back. I guess your knee. Bring your knee back to join your back knee. Make sure your knees are at hips width. Good. And then come to standing on your knees and salute the moon again. Open your belly and your throat and then come into child's pose. Slide your hands along the floor. Relax the back of your neck. Good. And then glide forward onto your belly and into cobra pose. Good. Strike cobra pose. Get a nice stretch through your belly. Good. Smile. Soft, cool, sweet. And then bring your chest and head down. Slide your hands back, elbows hugging in. Good. And then press down to come up and into child's pose. Very good. And then come back up to all fours and hands down. And you're going to step your right foot forward, way forward to the front of your mat with your knee aligned over your ankle. Good. Lean into it with your pelvis. And then salute the moon. Soft jaw, cool, easy, enjoyable. Come down. Come back up. Bring your palms together, and this time you'll rotate to your right. Good. Beautiful. Untwist and come salute the moon again. And then come down. Good. Now lift your back knee up. Turn your back toes under if you haven't already. Lift your back knee up. Get some momentum under the ball of your foot and swing your leg forward, and you come directly back into whatever version of squatting you can do today. Good. And then tip your head down and lengthen through the backs of your legs, and just let your head dangle with the backs of your legs lengthened. Yeah, forward fold. We didn't practice that part. And then come back up. Just salute the moon. Open your belly, open your throat, bring your palms together. And then glide your thumbs along your forehead and bring your hands to Anjali Mudra, or prayer pose. And just take a moment, connect with your breath, and see how you feel. I think the last time we did this, it was like, maybe we didn't have the AC on, because everybody was like drenched, and it was like not cooling. So we've got a good, more cooling thing going on today. Now, really, we've only done half of the moon salutation. To complete it, you want to do, because the pattern was you were guiding with your right knee coming back, and then right foot coming forward. So to truly balance everything out, we do it another time, and you lead with your left knee coming back, left knee coming forward. So let's do it one more time at least. All right. So connect with your breathing, connect with the floor and the qualities of the moon, cooling, soothing, feminine. And then take an inhale and open your belly and your throat. your thighs. Bend your knees a little bit so you get a nice release through your lower back. Good. And then sink into whatever version of squat works for you. Good. And then bring your hands down and bless you and step back with your left knee. Have your front foot way forward. Good. Lean into it so you get that nice psoas stretch on the left side. And once you feel ready to go, come up. Open your belly, open your throat. Good. And then slowly come down. Slowly come up. Bring your palms together and rotate to your right. Good. Take a nice little gaze up at the ceiling, gently twisting your neck as well and your throat. Good. And then unwind, salute. One more time. Soft jaw, and then come down. You are doing so beautifully. Okay, bring your front knee back to join your back knee. Knees and hips width apart, and then come to standing on your knees and salute. Good, and then glide your hands along the floor and come into child's pose. Good, and then glide along the mat, coming into cobra pose. Good, get a nice opening through your belly, relax your shoulders away from your ears. Perfect, and then lower your chest and your head, slide your hands back, press down into the floor to come up, and transfer back into child's pose. Just take a few breaths in child's pose. Take one more deep exhalation, and then come back to all fours, and step your left foot forward this time. Way forward, bring your pelvis forward. Good, and then when you're ready, then lower your torso down, hands down, come back up, bring your palms together, and rotate to your left again. Good, gentle twist in your neck and your throat as well. Very good. And then untwist, salute. And then come down. And turn your back toes under if you haven't already. Lift your back knee up. Get a little bit of momentum and swing your leg forward, coming back into squatting. You can come directly from bringing your leg forward into squatting. Good. And without a knee, you eventually will benefit from taking a wider stance. That'll help you to work toward getting your heels down. Good. And then tip your head down, lengthen through the backs of your legs, come into forward fold. Good. And then come up to standing. Salute one more time. Bring your palms together, match up all your fingers, and then graze your forehead with your thumbs. And then stand with your hands at heart center and just kind of pause and enjoy the afterglow. And then just rest your arms. So there are a lot of unseen things at play when we do yoga. I hope that you can't actually probably feel like my liver's working better now, or my hormones are more balanced now. But there are scientific studies that are showing, more and more that when we do these slow, calculated movements, and then this was really focused on the digestive area. that it truly does work. With the slow movements and the non-stimulation of the adrenal glands, we're bringing in these feel-good hormones that I've been talking about in class, like the estrogen, progesterone, oxytocin, and prolactin. These are our hormones that, like the oxytocin we talked about is our cuddle hormone. It's like, that kind of feeling, as opposed to the hot hormones like adrenaline and cortisol that make us feel like, like hot and aggressive and agitated and on edge. So pay attention to that. Hopefully this practice will give you those feelings of well-being and cuddle, love, all the things I feel like I need right now as my kids are now home for the summer and want to be loving and accepting